Greetings again, sons and daughters of the soil. Yeah, this thing is very depressing, in fact, to say the least. If you can check, the GNU government brought us again another water shedding, from load shedding to water shedding. It means apartheid is still continuing, but it's very much alive and covered, whereby imagine you don't have water in your own house. Then how are you going to flush the toilets, clean the house, wash yourself, drink water? Why water now is becoming a profit-making scheme, just like electricity? Because the capitalist elites, they want it to be like that. They want to milk this country to oblivion. Now, South African Reserve Bank is planning to buy 50% of Bank South Africa, which we're talking about First Rand, FNB, Standard Bank of South Africa, Absa, and so forth. Remember what the World Economic Forum said last time. They said they want to do what we call a digital currency, cashless society. That's why 2023 they implemented PaySharp. And PaySharp is one of those digital payment system whereby you don't use actual cash, like physical cash. It's transaction through to digital, it's through technology, which is something that is happening now, and yet in this country, which is coming to be realized. And the same South African Reserve Bank, the proxy of IMF and World Bank, they are using this so that they can be able to implement the control and dominant on all financial sector, to tell people how to buy and where to buy and who to buy it from or to. So that means we're not going to have no choice but to be directed where they want us to go and buy. This issue of spaza shops, we can look at it as if it's becoming actually dangerous to the children, to our kids. But we are not looking at who's planting all these things in these spaza shops. This is a coordinated move from Soweto, Alexander, Tembisa, and other places which we yet to be told about. So ask yourself this question: why are they so obsessed with pushing the narrative of closing down all spaza shops? Why all of a sudden there are too much death from snacks that is bought by our children from these spaza shops? These spaza shops didn't start yesterday. We had these spaza shops for the past good 20 years, if not 30. But we never experienced such until recently. But we are not asking questions, the right ones. We are not curious enough to understand what is happening here. Because now if you can check, the elites are pushing us to go buy to their stores, such as ShopRite, Pick n Pay, Boxer, and so forth, Woolies as well. Because they see that these spaza shops are making 180 billion per annum. They want that profit to come to them. Then we are used again like guinea pigs. We are used to fight their battle, just like what they did in 1976, when the Anglo were fighting the Boers. They were using us, the children of Africa, to fight, not to use the language Afrikaans. The same thing is happening even today. Then they call it resistance, but it's not resistance, because if it was a resistance, we should have been fighting for the land. We should have been fighting to destroy imperialism and apartheid. But that was not the case. The case was between English and Afrikaans, which language is supposed to be used. Today we are using English, and which many of our black people are proud of. They're destroying Afrikaans. Afrikaans is a second language in this country, just like all the indigenous languages here. So let's try to reflect and see the history. This is history. In order for us to understand the game, we need to go back to the history and understand why these elites keep using us as pawns in their game. In order for them to achieve something, they use us. Remember the listeriosis issue again. Who was arrested for listeriosis issues? Because people were declared killed for eating those enterprise products, but no one was arrested. What was the agenda then? Today we are facing similar thing. We are facing the spaza shops issue, and they depict two things in spaza shops: snacks and biscuits. What about the rest of the products inside the spaza shops? No one is talking about them because they don't have what they wanted to. They don't have what they have implemented to these two, specifically two items. So we need to have a mental curiosity and ask why. South Africa has joined BRICS, but currently South African Reserve Bank just announced they are part of SWIFT, and SWIFT is a European financial system where they for transactions. So seemingly there is a lot going on in this country because we are being redirected and misdirected through media and other propaganda machines. We are being controlled. We've been told what to think. We are being told how to think, not what to think. So those are part of the problems that we are facing in this country. Today there is a high rising of unemployment. No one is addressing the same elites. None of them are addressing the issue of unemployment. Instead, they are fixated on the issue of having total control over economy, total control over the land and distribution of wealth. They are in collaboration, in cahoots with the politicians, because politicians, they speak a lot of things, yet they are doing a different thing. So the GNU government is not helping us with anything. Equally with the fight between EFF and MK, we are not gaining anything there. There are two people fighting each other for what? The other one is paging leaders from another party, and the other one is retaliating with insult. So where are we going there? We need to tell the truth as it is, because right now we have serious problems that are facing us. Education system is actually indoctrinating our children. We are not learning anything that is important or productive actually. We're becoming consumers of things that are not beneficial to us. We're becoming slaves voluntarily without us understanding the repercussion and the consequences of being a consumer, of being a slave. We have people who decided that, look, whatever we do is no longer important. Whatever we want to organize is not going to work. The people are disgruntled. They do not have energy anymore because of one important thing. The elites and the politicians, they are in cahoots destroying this country. Instead of fixing anything, they are blaming it to somebody else. And currently, the person they are directing their anger to is the spaza shops, which they themselves allowed those spaza shops to be established here. They are crying about spaza shops not having papers. The people who are operating them, they don't have papers. But they are not addressing the the real owners of the spaza shops, which is the wholesalers. Why they are not addressing the issue with the wholesalers? The only time they want to tell the public about something that they want to do, which is a lie, is when they want to push another narrative which they are moving our attention away from it. So we need to start thinking like people who are mentally curiosity. If they tell us one thing, we need to look the other way and check what are they actually hiding. What are they actually want to implement? Because right now, they are working left while they're implementing right. For instance, now we have infrastructure that is deteriorating. People are being retrenched. People are not working. But as a country, we have a lot of things that can be done only when the government and its elite friends, the liberals, white liberals, can stop this thing of punishing the citizens of this country, especially the black people who are in majority are not working. Start opening the economy for everyone to participate in it. Allowing the land to be distributed to the people. Allow people to do their work. Allow people to develop. Even in the olden days, you remember the times of the homelands, Abu Mangope. Those people, those days, the government didn't build schools for our rural people. The school was built by the people of that rural area. They each came into conclusion that, look, we need a school. Then they went and then they built what we call the mud schools. Government didn't do that. The only thing that government did was to bring the teachers, which they did bring the teachers to come in and teach the children and then bring the books, curriculum and whatnot. So even these days, the same thing can happen because what is done in the past can also be done in the modern days, if we should put it that way. Because look, these days we have a lot of things like technology. We have technology in our hands. Things are not difficult to be done. Only the mindset needs to change. We need to move away from depending on the system, depending on the government, because it's the government that is manipulating us through promising us things that are free. Because once you start to promise people freebies, you're turning those people into dependent people. They depend on you, even a small thing. So we don't want that. I can give you another practical example. Let's look at cell phones. majority, in fact, 99% of people who are fixing phones, who are providing screen protector, those works of cell phone, even flashing cell phones, those people who are doing that is Asian people, especially people from India and Pakistan. Those people are good in doing that. They've entered that market and no one is challenging them. But if you can check in South Africa alone, we have over 70 million cell phones in the hands of the citizens. More than the number of people that are here. Some people have 2 cell phones, some have 3, 4, whatnot. Each and every family member has a cell phone. If that cell phone is damaged, they take in the cell phone where? To Abo my friend to fix it. But we have kids here going to school every day, graduating every day, but they can't even fix their own phones. They cannot even upgrade their own phones. So we need to change the mindset and then try to enter that market and try to train that market, that the people on that market. Because we know that the government will never provide any support or any training. So it's up to the NGOs to do that. So we can start attending those things through CETA, skills development, because technology is improving every day and it's not stopping. Now we are in the days of artificial intelligence. So by those things of artificial intelligence, we don't find them at primary school, because the system is designed to oppress the citizens, especially the young ones who are attending primary to high school. So people are learning theory. What happened to practicality of everything? So that means even our school system is fucked up. Something that we need to look into it, because you cannot introduce Bella Bill, and the same Bella Bill it talks about sex and other nonsense that is talking about. But it's not addressing the issue of curriculum. That the main important thing, the content of education is supposed to be the curriculum that is teaching the children how to become independent. But we are not doing that. We are supporting the same university system that is continue to oppress our people, teaching them nonsense, indoctrinated them at the end of the day. You can check even today when you go to the medical doctor. When you get there, they give you Panado. That's the first thing they give it to you. They're killing a pain. It doesn't matter what kind of sickness you have. Panado and antibiotics are 2 things that happen that is always on the initial stage. We do not have black people who specializes